Welcome back to the Midnight Who Show, and today we're going to be reviewing the second half of Volume 3 of Scooby-Doo and Guess Who? And the first episode is a fashion nightmare featuring Tim Gunn. And I really enjoyed the haunted bellhop design in this episode. It was really a cool-looking monster of the week, and I really liked it. I also really thought it was a great idea to set this episode in this department store, where there's no one really around, there's various things there, and they had a really cool scene when they were running through all the window displays, and I really enjoyed that scene. Probably one of my favorite parts of this episode. Also throughout this entire episode, Tim Gunn was very critical of Shaggy's outfit, and that was the running joke in this entire episode. But I really liked how, as many times he's trying to address it, also there's a 13 Ghost reference throughout this episode related to that. But it was really interesting at the end how he's like, wow, you know what? Shaggy has the perfect outfit for Mystery. It helps him flee and scatter all over the place. I really like that design. It's also, this department store has a lot of angry workers. Definitely lots of suspects now, isn't there? So yeah, this was a pretty good episode. I think Tim Gunn did a pretty good performance. He interacted pretty well with the gang, and it made for a pretty enjoyable episode. Scooby on Ice was the next episode, featuring Terrence Lipinski, and this was an okay episode. I really thought the Snow Ghost was a pretty cool design. I really liked how at the opening of the episode, the Mystery Inc. gang just runs right into it and causes so much hassle for him. You also feature the return of Simone, who has been featured in a variety of episodes throughout the show's run. And again here, they won't let her participate because, she's dressed up as a clown. Well, she can't go very far with that clown outfit. It's just so sad for her. There's also a really cool 13 Ghost reference in this episode about Flim Flam. And that's a really cool addition to this episode. Lots of 13 Ghost reference back to back in these first two of these next 7. Pretty cool. Now at the end, they really discovered that the Snow Ghost really wants these skates. And boy, the Snow Ghost really goes for him. He's really determined to get them. But yeah, this is a pretty okay episode. I think the guest star did a pretty good job. She interacted pretty well with the gang and just did pretty good. And it was a decent enough mystery, too. Except this caveman on the half-bike featuring Chloe Kim. Now, this is what's really weird about these 7 episodes, is that there's 2 winter episodes back-to-back. Luckily, they're completely different, but I found it kind of interesting. But a nice little change of pace from the other episodes, which is cool. Now, this caveman is very oddly familiar. It looks very familiar to the one, in fact, from Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? And that's a pretty cool little nod to the original show, which I really liked. And there's some really elements that, like the heating pad and the person switching out the caveman from the snow. So you get a little bit of elements that were in there, but it's a completely different story with a different mystery, and I really liked that. And Chloe Kim was a pretty decent guest star. I think she interacted pretty well with the Mystery Inc. gang, and it was a good episode. The next episode is The Crown Jewel of Boxing featuring Layla Ali. And this was a pretty good episode. I really liked the robot design, and it's just an out-of-control robot. And the animation they did with it, with the boxing scene, was really cool. And I really liked how the guest star was trying to just really help Shaggy and Scooby find themselves and help self-improve themselves. And that was a big chunk of this episode. And it didn't really take too much from this episode. And it was interesting how, I think with this episode, I was able to guess who the kind of person would be under controlling the robot. It's not too hard to guess, at least for me. It was a decent mystery, too, It's like lots of twists and turns in this one, because at first you're like thinking, why are they going after this? There must be something here, and there is. But yeah, it was a great episode. It had some really good animation to it, especially like the military base with the backgrounds. It was so really cool looking, and it was a good episode. Internet on Haunted House Hill, featuring Liza Koshy. And Liza is actually probably out of these 7, one of the best guest stars in these 7 episodes. She gave a really great performance, and it just looked like she was having a great time interacting with the Mystery Inc. gang. Throughout the entire episode, you see Liza kind of vlog with the Mystery Inc. gang, and I really like those parts. It's kind of hilarious. Also funny to think Fred has a whole video channel about trapping, and his followers. That was a great scene. The setting of the old mansion was a pretty cool thing, and there's some really cool references to some more monsters, but there was the caveman again, which was kind of weird to see it again after the last episode, and the werewolf design seemed pretty familiar, so that was pretty cool. But this was just like frozen pizza versus delivery pizza, and that's what Shaggy and Scooby are there for, not a mystery. Great scene. But yeah, this is just a really enjoyable episode. Next episode is the 7th inning scare featuring Macklemore. At first when I heard that, it's like baseball meets Macklemore. Interesting combo. Let's see how this is all about. So Macklemore invites the Mystery Gang to a baseball game in Seattle. However, the main reason is because he's being attacked by a zombie mascot, and he needs their help to figure out the mystery. I really liked the monster yak design. That was really kind of a different looking design, which I liked. But it was a lot of destruction in this episode. Just for Macklemore, because Macklemore was actually in the one controlling the yak and was all behind this. Just to say, because of those meddling, I would have got away with it if it wasn't for those meddling kids. He did all of this destruction for one line. That's... okay, bravo. He destroyed a stadium, a baseball shop, and this mansion. Just to say one line. But that must mean he's just a huge fan of Scooby-Doo. But yeah, just that one part is like, okay, there's other ways, they could just let you say it, but okay. Yeah, this was a pretty decent, this was a pretty average episode. There's not too much I really would say I would want to watch this episode again, but Macklemore did a pretty good performance, and it was a lot better than I initially thought it would be when I first heard about this episode. Next, the last episode is one, when I heard a comment on my Volume 2 review, I was really excited, because this one features Sandy Duncan in the dreaded remake of Jekyll and Hyde. And now this is a sequel, and this is a sequel to the new Scooby-Doo movies episode featuring Sandy Duncan, Sandy Duncan's Jekyll and Hyde, and this is how you do a sequel. We've seen how they did with The Curse of the 13 Ghosts and Return to Zombie Island. I didn't really feel too connected to the original source materials, but this one was so good. Sandy Duncan is an already amazing guest star. The Hyde monster, it feels really updated, and it doesn't feel like it's exactly the same monster, which I really liked. And this is only 22 minutes instead of the normal double length of the movies episode, so you couldn't really get all these different designs of these different sets, but they still do a nice brief look at all these various sets in this Mammoth Studios, which I really liked. And you also get some of the mummy. You get a mummy again, and you get these automatronic little creatures that are trying to stop them. I really liked it, and it really felt like it was just directly, like they just had that mystery with Sandy Duncan trying to update it and make a remake. I really liked it. And it's still running into all the same troubles as the original, cast and crew just being taken away, and lights falling, and it was so good. I really enjoyed it. I think this was such an amazing idea to do a sequel to the new Scooby-Doo movies, and this was definitely a great end to 13 episodes of Scooby-Doo and Guess Who. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed all of these episodes. I don't think there was a particularly one I would say that is truly awful, which is good. They're mostly, it ranges from really average to then pretty good, and then really amazing. Definitely my favorites are the Dread remake of Jekyll and Hyde, the Alton Brown, the Feast of Dr. Frankenfooter, and The Last Inmate featuring Morgan Freeman. Those are really highlights for me with these ones because they had amazing guest stars, and they had a really good mystery, and I will definitely want to watch these ones again. But yeah, tell me your guys' thoughts on all these 13 episodes of Volume 3 in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, everyone.